Hey, it's Bobby from Raytown Productions. I just had an awesome conversation with another YouTube creator, coincidentally also named Bobby. Bobby runs the Frightbox Recording Academy, and he also produces and mixes bands. He has an incredible channel and covers a lot of topics that I usually don't talk about, like production and actually recording music. So be sure to check out his channel. There are so many good tutorials there. Now, in this conversation that we had, we were talking about what was going on in our local music scene. And it led us down this crazy rabbit hole, which eventually ended up at what is the future of music production in a home studio? So, in this conversation, we talk about what AI is doing to music production as a whole, and if these tools are actually going to help songwriting and creativity, or if they're going to replace people like me and Bobby. This is a super interesting conversation. I think you're going to gain a lot from it. So, let's get into it. What's the latest plugin or tool that you've
Oh,
bought?
dude, I'm the last person to ask for
Have
that.
you have
Like,
you messed with any of these like new plugins? I'll call them next gen, like the AI tools.
no, I know I like the idea of them. Like, I remember you telling me last year about the plugin that I think that's a great tool. The like, if you have like a vocal melody, like I think we talked about this. Like, like I can't really sing, but I can come up
Yeah.
with melodies. So let's say I just record myself singing half-assed into my DAW, and then I tune it and then stick it through an AI tool. So it's like a female vocalist just to get the
Right.
idea. I think that's an amazing tool. That's
Yeah.
just as good as like Easy Drummer or like, Easy Bass or, but I've never messed with it personally. I've been the last year I produced that EP that like my life revolved around that with the studio, but I'm behind the times for sure. I haven't seen anything though that like I need to try it. What else is there outside of the AI vocal thing?
And I might not be the best person either,
Mhm.
because I'm very much like you. Like, just learn the basic tools,
Yeah.
and you can do like everything.
Yeah.
I've been going down the rabbit hole recently with some of these. There's some cool stuff that Waves has been coming out with.
Really?
I would argue they're probably one of the I almost want to say one of the leaders of like the AI. They've come out with like a few series of like when I say AI, it's a machine learning based like neural network that basically will make predictions for you to get you closer to where you want to be.
For mix?
And so they have a bunch of different tools for that. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of
S-
disturbing.
Uh, I know, and so it's like, you know, this goes back to the whole thing we talked about earlier, where it's
Yeah.
like AI is only as good as the training data you provide it, right? So,
Yeah.
like, to me, I think there's going to be this huge influx of all these people buying these AI tools, and
Yeah.
it's going to have a sonic fingerprint of all the training data that was fed to it
Yeah.
to develop these algorithms. So everything's
Totally.
going to sound like 2023 or
Yes.
2022. It's
Yes.
like you could just instantly get like suggestions like based on music like that. And
Yeah.
then sure, you can update the algorithm. And then, well, actually, I don't think you can, because the way that the model works, like plugin models, is you want to have recall.
Yeah.
So you can't like retrain it. It'll change the algorithm and then it's not going to work like on
Yeah.
you can't recall it anymore. I don't know, dude. Like, it's a weird thing. And so like this one that I've been playing with, you feed it a source and it can figure out what it is. So if
Okay.
I play guitars, like distorted guitars, they'll say, "Oh, you're telling me you want to me to process distorted guitars."
Yeah.
And so it takes it in, and then it calculates a few options of what the guitar tone should sound like.
But are they listening to the rest of the mix?
No.
Then what's the point?
That's
So it's pointless.
maybe. Yeah, right. So I think we'll get there. What I'm finding, and I actually want to do a video on this,
Yeah.
is that I think these tools are better not to fix your mix, not
Hmm.
to like help people mix,
Yeah.
but to teach people how to like get a sound. So
Okay.
like what I think it's really good at is like like intelligently predicting maybe like top 5 presets
Mm.
basically for you, even though it's like an adaptive thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
think of like Soothe or like Gullfoss or like these things that are like constantly compensating, your guitar tone,
Yeah.
which has a sound, but
Yeah.
like you get to learn the EQ shape that it's forcing your guitars to sound like.
Okay.
And if you kind of like have 5 options, you can quickly like go through it in the
Yeah.
context of the mix and be like, "Oh, actually this middle one, I kind of dig that."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you can see how the EQ is correcting, and you're like, "Oh, I just scoop out 600 hertz and then boost 1K." And,
Yeah.
like, that's the sound.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's not what it's being sold to do, but I think that there is some utility there
Yeah.
if you just use it as a learning tool.
For like beginners and stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
or if you're stuck, like if you're stuck
Yeah.
on a mix, you're like, I don't know, like, but then it's a rabbit hole because then it's like your mix is never done because what if I just generate 5 more presets and then like try those and generate 5 more? Like, where's the perfect preset? But like, I
I'm
don't
of
know if
the
that's
I don't know, man. I'm of the mindset after talking to hundreds of people and talk that more options is not what we need right now.
no, you're right.
Like,
You are totally right.
but you know, like you said, it could be a great learning experience. But let me ask you this. But what I'm still trying to understand. So they're trying to market it that it will tell you for isolated sounds like a kick drum, snare drum, vocal, but a mix is always a contextual thing. So like,
Yeah.
how does it know? Like, for example, sometimes you want a dark, murky guitar tone if it's
Yeah.
complementing something else, or maybe you want it to so there's contrast between the present bright guitar tone. How the hell is it supposed to know that?
So what it will do is basically it learns
Mm, yeah,
doesn't really learn anything, but
yeah.
it learns like the overall shape of your mix, how you
Oh,
made
oh,
it,
it does
make
do
it.
that. Okay, got it.
So yeah, so it'll like basically set a baseline. It's like,
Mm,
okay, this person has it mixed like this. We'll figure it out. And like some of these tools do allow you to like look at the full mix, but
yeah,
it's not like you can say like, oh, here's the guitar portion, here's the bass, here's all
yeah,
these things.
yeah.
At least not yet. I'm sure this will be something
That
because
will be
clearly
next.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
Uh, it can look at all that, and then you can choose presets, and then you can dial in, right? There's knobs to then make it kind of shift it. Like you're like, oh, this is close, but it's too bright. So
yeah,
then you can go in and be like, all right, lower the target to be a little bit more dull. And you're like, okay,
yeah,
that's pretty close.
yeah,
Or enhance this section.
yeah,
But what these tools are good at doing is isolating very nuanced portions that you can't isolate with traditional tools like standard EQ or a dynamic EQ or a regular compressor
that makes sense.
because you're breaking it down into different it just doesn't act like a normal thing, right?
Yeah,
So it's like it it's been trained on how to like deconvolute a snare drum out of a complex mix, and
yeah,
so it can kind of selectively adjust it within a full mix, even though it's because it knows what a snare drum sounds like inside of all that, if that makes sense.
got
So
it,
like,
totally.
so you have more, but then this goes back to your point where it's like you have more options now. So
Yeah,
if you're just like, oh, I just want to lower the hi-hats without affecting anything else,
yeah,
you kind of can do that now. And but then
yeah.
it gives you it kind of does it has its own sound and it can
Mm.
and then you can start hearing it on other people's records now. So like
Oh,
I think it's kind of like a phase, but for certain very nuanced things, it can be very useful for,
yeah,
and then also as a tool to learn
yeah.
and identify like what works and what isn't working. Will it ever replace us as a mixing engineer? Hell no. Like
Yeah, maybe.
it's
Yeah, maybe one day. Well, the thing that's interesting about this is like, you know, that's one we're talking about mixing, which is one thing, but as we all know, or we should know, mixing is like at the most 1/3 of the sound of a production. You know, you've got obviously
right.
and a lot of home studio people miss the other steps. We always are talking about like, oh, sidechain compression, oh, master bus chains, but it's like, dude, but if your songwriting and arrangement isn't on point, you can forget about that stuff, right? So obviously it's, you know, songwriting, arrangement, source selection, source sound selection. Like, are you skilled at picking the right drum sound or samples for the song you want? Are you skilled at picking the right guitar tone with what should gel with the drums that you have in your head? That's the second phase, obviously. And then the mixing and mastering is the last phase. So what I'm interested in is when AI could take over all of it, then we're out of a job.
I think we're starting to see the second phase right now.
Oh, really? Of what?
Yeah.
Of like
Yeah.
editing and all that kind of stuff too, you think?
Like sound selection. So that's
Oh,
something that these tools are good at doing. So it goes back to the training data. So
yeah.
like if you train it on modern metal songs
Yeah.
and people want that sound,
Yeah.
it's very good at finding that and changing or re-synthesizing what you have to make it sound like that.
Got it. Got it.
And it's getting scary because like um I give a lecture at work about noise reduction
Yeah.
and like what AI and neural networks can do in terms of noise reduction
Yeah.
and just kind of step through like traditional algorithms will do these things. This is what the output sounds like. It sounds better, but you lose like the vocal clarity.
Yeah.
And then if we start using AI algorithms that focus in the frequency space, like you can do these things, and now it sounds like really good and quiet, and you don't lose as much vocal clarity. And
Yeah.
then there's some stuff that like Adobe was doing, and I think it's kind of becoming the standard now, where they call it noise reduction, but really what it is re-synthesis. And yeah, this is
What?
gonna blow your mind, dude. This is
Wow.
like it's like weird stuff. So like we could have like this conversation, and
Yeah.
my dogs would be barking and all this stuff, and then you could use these AI uh, models or these machine learning models to listen and hear our voice and interpret our voice,
I got it. I'm getting it.
and then delete all the audio
And
and
redo it completely.
re-synthesize it
Wow. That's insane.
digitally. So it's not you talking anymore.
Yeah.
It's literally it listened, figured out your
Yeah.
voice,
Yeah.
your inflection, all
Yeah.
that, and then
What?
re-synthesized it without any noise.
What? Yeah, because
And
it's
it
a
sounds
recreation.
believable.
It's a complete recreation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
you anymore.
Wow.
It's
So
literally just
imagine if it
it's
could
like a deep fake,
re-synthesize
right?
guitars, it could re-synthesize guitar
Right.
performances.
Right. Right.
Wow.
That's where I think it's going, dude.
You're right.
I
You're
think
totally
I
right.
think you're gonna feed your drums to this thing, and
Yeah.
it's going to be like, "Oh, this is what you want." Boom, and it's just gonna spit out like
A
you're like
perfect, yeah, like
exactly. In the
mu
style of whatever you want
yeah.
because you trained it on that mixer or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, I could see it being a subscription service where it's like, instantly take my scratch tracks and turn it into what it would sound like if this mixer did it, if you
Yeah.
train the model stylistically how that mixer would do things.
Yeah. It makes all the guitars tight and everything like
Exactly. Right.
you're right, dude. I
I
never
think we're
thought of
getting
that.
I would say 3 years away
Oh
before
my
we start seeing it rolling out.
wow.
I mean, I wish I was smart. I would just do this because to me, this is like a very creative, fun problem. Like my
Yeah.
science brain is like, oh, this would be so fun. Like I have a bunch of world experts. I could probably get them on board,
Then we're
and then
out
we
of a
could
job.
do this. But
Then we're out of a job.
right then we're screwed. So it's like, but
D
I can see it. I can see it
I
going
could
in
see it,
this
dude.
direction. We see it with vocals now,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's not the best, but like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And like categorization, identifying sounds, changing things, transforming something into something else.
Yeah.
That is what these machine learning algorithms do the best.
The
Yeah.
question is though, but this brings up another interesting topic, and then I won't keep you here too long. We can talk about this for hours, but
No, I know. I know.
but what? But then think about it. It's going to be so good, and it could literally do anything. Are people going to want to play anymore? Forget about us
I
as
don't
mixing
know.
engineers, because like think about like then anybody could just spit out great records, right? Like because then you could just have AI write the stuff. You could
They
say,
already
okay,
have that, dude. They already have it.
they already have that. Oh, yep. And then it's like, okay, well, give me the drum sound from Bush's Razor Blade suitcase and throw whatever this guitar, and then it just does it, right? So
Yeah.
like nobody would anybody have the desire to record anymore? Would anybody have the desire to, I think musicians will always want to play together. That's like
Right.
never gonna die. But yeah, I don't know, man. I like it, but then dude, if it gets that crazy, what's gonna happen to humans in general? Like, are humans gonna have to do anything? Like, are we gonna have to work? Like,
I've thought about this a lot, and this is such a philosophical thing.
we're there. We're there right
If
now.
you ask, I know, if you ask like ChatGPT or these AI models, like, what do we do when you replace us? It's basically they just say like, oh, we just have to have a social welfare program, and just everybody has to get money because we'll do all your hard work.
Whoa.
And then we as humans, if you want to be utopian, we can just pursue our passions
Yeah, yeah.
as humans, and it's paradise.
Wow.
Or if you look at it like 1984, like
Yeah,
it's whatever you want. It's like Big Brother. It's like I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Now it's some crazy like constraint thing, and everybody's screwed, and everybody's poor, and just chaos. I don't know, dude. But
Well,
there's
yeah.
two sides of the coin, so
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The resynthesis thing was dark, dude. That's dark because it clicked into place. Because when I hear about AI with music, it's like, okay, they can make fake music, and then it's like AI mixing, maybe. But then I'm thinking, well, there has to be AI editing then, and I'm like, how good could that be? But then no, if it resynthesizes it, it could do
right. That's
anything.
the secret. Sorry for the brief interruption. I just wanted to say that if you like what you're watching, let me know in the comments below. And if you're looking to support the channel, the easiest thing you can do is just join my membership below, and you get access to free downloads that I put out all the time and some behind the scenes footage. You also get a cute little badge by your name, and it would also mean the world to me. It's the easiest way in the entire world to say thank you. But you could also just leave a comment or share the video. That works too.
But then why would anybody want to record? Because then you would never have to record, really.
No. Well, I think what would happen is it would disrupt the music industry model, right? So it's
Yeah.
like it would flood the industry with music.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe there's still streaming revenues. That's probably going to go down to nothing, right? We saw the
Which it
cost
already is.
of right, exactly. So like we saw the cost. Like bands used to make killer money doing this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was like it was like gangster money, like
Yeah.
crazy money.
Yeah.
Like I have a private plane money. Like
Yeah.
it really doesn't happen that much anymore.
Yeah.
And the value of money and what the consumers are willing to pay for us, like just like an album, is like nothing. They expect it. It's
For
like
free.
you owe it to me
Yeah.
as a listener, and you get my stream.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
it.
like, so we're already seeing a transition away from that.
Yeah.
And then if you have the ability to dump out like insane amounts of music, right?
Yeah.
You're going to saturate the market. And
Mhm.
then I think there's just going to be a market shift to trying to find how to make it lucrative somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe people will start regulating things where it's like, okay, like, or you find people, right, that will be like, no, we're gonna make a platform that only does organic music made by humans.
Yeah. 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 That's true.
You know,
That's
it's
true.
gonna be there will always be a way
No.
if the market wants it, but maybe people don't want music in the future made by humans.
I know. Yeah. That's true.
I don't know, right?
We don't
It's
know.
like
I don't,
we're
dude,
stuck.
honest.
We're stuck back in the days when we had to play the instruments.
Yeah.
So like,
I think that's never gonna. Musicians are all live music until robots literally become indistinguishable from humans and play live instruments in front of you. And it's like, is it a robot or is it a human? Humans always want to play music, and there's always gonna be somewhat of a demand to watch an artist perform live at the very least, right? But record making. But it would have to be like the whole conversation we had earlier about, things going back to like we're in the Nevermind era right now, right? Like bands sounding like bands again, unique productions, the fingerprint is there. If AI is just copying other things, I think maybe there'll be a demand for more fingerprinty productions, like you were saying, because it's going to become such a rare thing. So everybody's going to sound the same,
right.
know? Or maybe I'm thinking about it in a closed-minded way, and maybe AI will be so good that it'll create its own unique fingerprinty things that people will want to listen to. I don't know.
God, don't ruin my brain, dude. I was like,
I don't know, man.
It's gonna be a pendulum, right? It's just a fad right now. It's doing some cool stuff for music producers.
Yeah.
It like if you're a beat producer, it can like suggest like, oh, this is the kick drum you want.
Yeah.
Like you have these like bell sounds, like all the famous songs have bell sounds like this. Use this kick, use this kick. So like it helps people like try to help them find their sound. But what I'm worried about is, again, it's like if you train the data, right, and it just points everybody at one target.
Yes.
Boring. You lose our fingerprint, right? In these training data, if it's biased or if it's targeting something, you could use this can't speak, dude. Got me all worked up. Manipulatively to like enhance somebody's brand, right? If you want to drive everybody to sound like Drake, like Drake becomes even more powerful, right? Or I'm waiting for the fuckery to kind of get involved in this.
Dude, this is great. We live in an interesting time. So I don't know. I think AI, somebody I was talking to recently said this, and I agree with them. AI is either going to kind of stay at this level and maybe get better, but never go to the point where we expect it to go, or it's going to completely change the entire world forever, and we're never going to go back. It's one or the other. Yeah. It's one or the other, and I kind of hope it's not the second one. We'll see.
Dude, I don't know. I think for some things, it's going to make life amazing. Like we already see that, right? Yeah. Cars can drive themselves for the most part. Like that's pretty cool. It's safe to say that we will not know, and it will be unpredictable.
Yeah,
because people didn't think this was going to be a thing, right? Yeah. All of a sudden, now it's a thing. Now it certainly is a thing. And question for you, are you using any of these modern AI machine learning tools in your sessions? If so, which ones? Let me know in the comments below. Now, regardless if you're using these types of tools, you still need to have a strong foundation and understanding of how these different mixing tools work together. And one of the biggest ones, in my opinion, and something that these machine learning plugins never seem to get right, is with compression. But don't worry, I got you. In the description, I have a link to download my Compression 101 ebook, It goes over what all the different types of knobs mean in plain English so that you can very quickly dial in a good compression setting. And most importantly, it describes what you should be listening for when you are dialing in compression so you can make the best choices for your music possible. There's a link to download that free ebook in the description. Be sure to go and check out the Frightbox recording channel on YouTube. Say hi to Bobby for me. And with that, I want to thank you for your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next video.